my assignment, as you mentioned when you introduced me, I'm the leader of inclusion and diversity, where I'm responsible for ensuring that we utilize the full complement of the diverse workforce that we're building. We want everyone to be able to fully participate. We want all of those perspectives to have a voice and to be able to contribute. And, of course, that means addressing some of the table stake issues around I&D, like representation. But then that also means, looking at some of the systems, some of the organizational, as well as some of the marketplace challenges and opportunity will be an enabler to us leveraging the full complement of our workforce. What I found is that a lot of organizations have made some progress on hiring a diverse workforce, but if your organization becomes a revolving door, it doesn't matter how diverse the workforce is if you can't keep them. And it doesn't matter how diverse the workforce is if you don't know how to actually gain access to the diverse ideas, perspective, and experiences that they bring in order to be a better organization. And so while it was a subtle change on paper, it was a massive change in focus. And so we put a tremendous amount of focus on that we built a workforce that people, when they walk in, they can contribute from day one. Our inclusion and diversity journey has been just that. It's been a journey where we've taken 3 steps forward and 1 step back. We've moved forward with initiatives that turned out to not be the right thing to focus on. It's been a trial and error process. But the one thing that we've done is we've remained committed to ensuring that this is not a flavor of the month.
Yeah.
Inclusion and diversity is not, something that we'll focus on this year and then we'll tuck it away in the drawer and never revisit it. It is a strategic initiative for us. It is a part of how we operate now. When she has interviewed the tens of thousands of people that she's interviewed, she says it always comes down to this one idea, this one thought, and it is, do you see me? Do you hear me? And in reinforcing and creating an environment at TEKsystems, I realize it's ultimately the same thing. People want to know, can their voice be heard? Can they convey their ideas in a way that they are listened to and taken seriously? It doesn't mean that you're going to implement their ideas. I think most people recognize that just because I suggest something doesn't mean that all of my suggestions are going to be embraced. But they want to know that you at least consider, you listen to them, and they are given an opportunity to continue to do that. Diverse teams that are inclusive bring better performance, because there's also studies out there that have shown that just because you bring checkbox diversity, gender, ethnicity, and things like that to the table, but you don't create the context where people can contribute, you actually do more harm, because it's really in that discretionary effort, the people going above and beyond, is where you really start to see organizations innovate. You start to see organizations really solve challenges, because people feel like when they do show up and they're their authentic self and they can contribute their ideas, they're actually being enacted upon. And so the diverse teams coalesce with an inclusive culture really causes companies to thrive. So I think the organizations that see real change are the ones that have embraced the language, they've embraced concepts and definitions that when you see it, you can call it out in real time, consistently, and that's how you're able to drive change. But then you empower your people. You create the context where individuals are willing to be held accountable, and they actually invite each other to hold them accountable. And so for me, for my team, I've mentioned to them, and I've asked them many times, if you see me making a decision or it feels like the decision or the direction I'm going feels biased, then I need you to tell me, because that's the unique and that's the unique issue with unconscious bias, is that it's unconscious.
I think most people think gender and ethnicity, but what else comes to mind as far as diversity?
Gender, ethnicity, functional. Well, if we're talking hiring, for us, it's gender, it's ethnicity, it's physical ability, it's geographically where they come from, it's educational background. Now, it's we have a gentleman on my team that's focused on hiring people that brings also neurodiversity. We know that people bring different thinking styles and work styles now, and considering the timing that we're recording this, your ability to engage virtually is becoming extremely important. And so all of those factors play into, the diversity elements that one should consider in the hiring process. I would describe my philosophy as, one, lead by example, embrace humility, try to outwork people, but be balanced, add value, and remain comfortable with or grow through discomfort.
Yeah.
So that's my own personal sort of leadership philosophy. But as I think about my team, it's provide clarity on what the expectations are and our goals, then provide freedom for them to leverage their strengths to get the job done, and then hold them accountable.